So you get it, and we talked about you're very positive when it comes to players. You've got a quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who has basically been consigned by not just outsiders, but most of the NFL as shouldn't have drafted him, not good, gotta move on and get better. Tell me the process of how you kind of evaluated Tua and helped him ascend.
This is cool because this is two-pronged, and there's a specific moment that I think we can detail. That's it was really cool.
Nice.
About the whole journey. But for context, like when I first started assessing the situation, you have the 5th pick in the draft, and all the things that were involved in his experience thus far in the NFL. I found it was hard for me to not look at him and think of my experience. And in my experience in the world, shoot, I'm a head coach now, and I know where I came from, and I know like how did I even have a chance to have this to even fulfill this overly ambitious vision or drive or dream that I had. And I knew I would have had no chance had I not been built up by my mom to that, you know what, you can do anything. You are the smartest, whatever, everything a single mom would tell a child.
Yeah.
I know at a young age, I gravitated to that gave me the confidence that we all have those moments where it's like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. And so do you go into those moments of uncertainty with faith that you're going to get it done, or anxiety or apprehension that you're going to fail? And I had gone through all those moments with just vigor and fearlessness because of how I've been built up. So I saw Tua like that, like, how can we even approach the idea of we know what this player is when I don't know, from my vantage point, who does this guy have that believes in him? So we have to start with, he has to know that someone's 100% in his corner, which I see as that's what a coach is, and that, no, dude, you can do it. So I had to convince him that I believed in him, so then he can in turn allow himself, because I've been through it.
Sure.
And I saw that. And then there was a particular moment that set everything off, and it was in early March or something. We're going through free agency, and in that free agent process, we're meeting with all of the scouts and coaches in a room, and we're discussing all sorts of things about, okay, well, we need to do this, that, or the other, and all the different directions you can go in free agency to build your team. And I knew in my mind that Tua needed skill position players that were dynamic with the ball in their hands, because I saw him as, this dude is a point guard, right? He has a gift that way. And then some of the people in the personnel were like, you know what, no, we need to spend money on offensive linemen, and I could feel that I knew that I disagreed with it, but I hate hey everyone, no, because I said so.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool, taking the information, let me go back to the office. We go back to the office, and I cut on the tape. And so I'm cutting on the tape to build the tape to explain to the entire coaching staff and to start the conversation from my lens so we can get to where we need to go. And I'm watching different skill positions, and then as I progress through the tape, I start to notice this trend, and it's like, wow, that's like the 7th different outbreak that I've watched Tua throw to the field. And just for a quick explanation of that is, an outbreak to the field is I see once or twice from a particular quarterback in a season, because the receiver's running away from you, meaning the ball's in the air longer, which is a higher risk for defenders to make up that ground, undercut, and pick six for a catastrophic turnover. This is a high risk throw that quarterbacks are very nervous to make, and he's doing it.
And so
and then
the receiver's going.
So like, let's say the ball is on the left hash.
Okay.
We're going that way.
Yep.
The ball's on the left hash. So the receiver, from where the ball's snapped, the receiver on the right is running an out route.
Oh, got it.
To the field.
To the field.
Right, so it'd be on the right to the field, and he would make pinpoint throws that are down the field, 10-yard throws, but are literally 40-yard throws. And I'm like...
And fearlessly.
And so then what started as an explanation of like how guys needed to be more open for Tua turned into this Marvel sesh that started at about 6:30 p.m. and then I just start watching until midnight on a random weekday in the off season, and end up compiling this thing where I'm like, I thought I knew. I didn't even know what we're sitting on. And I'm like freaking out, and I'm sitting on this. I know for a fact from this night of study that this is the best quarterback for our offense that I've ever that I've had a chance to coach.
Whoa.
And I'm like freaking out, right? So then I call Ann Nolan, our head of PR, and I'm like, just write this date down. This is crazy. Okay? Get off the phone with her, call Chris Greer. I'm like, this is midnight. I'm like, dude, I just got to tell you, I've gone through like 700 different passes from 700 passes, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. This guy is doing stuff that I just haven't focused all my attention on this quite yet, and we are sitting on a gold mine. We need to do everything we do moving forward should be skill position players that have the ability to do stuff with the ball in their hands, because this guy, if they're open, he'll get it to them, and this is something that we've done in San Francisco. I can see the vision where we have run after the catch yak guys.
Right. Now you got to tell Tua.
But I'm not even there yet. Then I go home. It's probably 1 a.m. I can't even sleep. I come back at 3, refine the tape, and come up with, I need to show the whole organization this tape today.
Whoa.
I'm going to wait for Chris to wake up. He wakes up, I call him. I'm like, dude, sorry, but we need to can we have a staff meeting at 8 a.m.? When are the scouts going to be in? Okay, we're going to have everybody in there, and I just need to show this tape. I have to get this off my chest. And he's like, cool. And then we get the whole staff together, and I just run through 150 clips in a row to kind of explain, okay, this is the offense that he played within. These are some of the things he's capable of, and a historical perspective on offenses and what our offense is able to do if we have this type of player with some San Francisco stuff and all. And it was like this. And from that meeting ends, everyone kind of loosely discusses. That afternoon, we have these analytic charts of the people in free agency that have the best ability to separate and have most yak stuff, and the whole organization saw it, and we just moved in the direction to, all right, we're empowering Tua, let's go. And called Tua in, showed him the same tape. Anybody that was willing to listen, I was making sure they knew, because I wanted everyone on the same page.
When Tua saw it, how was he?
It was interesting, because it was like that, it was like the most extreme case of a person not knowing how to take a compliment. You could tell he was not used to anything but overly constructive negativity. So he didn't know how to take it.
Did he almost not believe you?
No, he was like, it was a slow momentum building meeting that probably clips 75. He starts participating, like he's reading the room like, this isn't a trick, right? This isn't a setup. And he's like, I can feel him get up in his chair, and then I'm making the pitch of, okay, well, dude, you are doing all this incredible stuff, and in my estimation, people aren't open enough. This is what it should look like. Showed him stuff, and he gets fired. And then by the end of it, we need playmakers.
Yeah, did you put on Niner clips, or did you go all the way back, or what?
Yeah, it was intercut with some Niner clips and things to kind of help him. You know, I'm thinking about that. To me, one of the things that I do that's a staple that I learned from, I think John Gruden taught it to Kyle Shanahan, and it's something that from Kyle's tree we all have a little bit of our own element. And you know, I've made tapes for Kyle for years, and the whole idea is telling a story and carrying a narrative through video to tell your story, so you have more factual, real backbone to your argument.
Which translates to a Saturday night meeting with the players, where you say, "This is what we're going to do."
These are all the same kind of like skill set or whatever, and that whole process helped him understand. Okay, why am I showing this to you? What this means, why you can trust me in my assessment, and where we're moving forward, and what he needs to focus on. Kind of streamlined, and it was the first building block, and then that on top of practice tape and following suit. Once we got onto the practice field, you could see a guy viscerally in front of you, like, wow, maybe I am good.
And by the way, here's Tyreek Hill, your new target.
And then, so I did the same thing with Tyreek Hill, showed him the same tape. And it was one of those that, you know, I was only going this direction if I was without a doubt positive in what I was saying. I wasn't going to ruin my credibility with an organization or Tyreek Hill or anything.
Yeah. Showed
him that, and then immediately Tyreek's like, oh yeah, totally.
He started telling the world, kind of.
And then he hits the, which was cool. It wasn't the exact way, but it was also semi-genius to Tyreek, because, like, you know, everyone's talking about Tua, is he this, that, or the other, and then you have this one-of-one guy come out and be like, no, this dude is the deal.
Yeah, he's like, I like him, you know, he's more accurate than Patrick Mahomes, which is like, whoa.
Right, and it was, but regardless, it was something that I think, it was a necessary process for the situation that, you know, I kind of fell into, but was so gratifying because you could watch, you know, I had this philosophy of positivity and maximizing people, getting the most out of them.
Yeah.
Not saying what they are, okay, whatever. We're in the business of maximizing talent. So if that's the case, why am I talking about all this stuff they can't do? Let's establish what they can do, and let's say, let's raise people's ceilings and their expectations of themselves, you know? Well, holy cow, I've had this belief forever. I talked to the guys that were interviewing me that ultimately hired me about it, and then boom, immediately, here I get to express it and then watch it. Oh yeah, phew, I was right.
Yeah, right. And what was it, about week 3 where you were like, okay, I think I can exhale on that?
No, you know, what was really funny is I felt like I was sitting on a secret forever. And the relief part was probably right around when we were doing inter-squad scrimmaging. And we were able to, Tua was able to execute some of the things that he was doing against our own defense, against another opponent. And so there was the relief. And by the regular season, it was like, finally we get to unveil the secret that I feel like I've been sitting on forever, which is like, and it didn't take long. I think it was week 2, where we were down by several touchdowns, and we had a 21-point comeback.
Oh, the Phillips, yeah,
against Baltimore.
Baltimore, that's right.
And that's when people started, or they kind of stopped the Mike McDaniel's crazy to it. They started to listen, which was really cool to be a part of for the players specifically, because you're like, all right, dude, people will see eventually, and then it happens and they do, and he can feel that. And then watching it was amazing how much growth that human being had in a calendar year, more so than anything I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
That's wild.